She awoke the next morning to a splash beside the boat, and when she looked into the dark water, she saw her father's angry face reflected there. But then it was her own weary face, framed by dark hair. Her cheeks and lips were chapped from the cold, and her muscles ached. She set out slowly, switching sides of the river whenever it curved, knowing how the water was shallow and slow-moving on the outside of curves, and fast and deep on the inside where it was in the process of wearing away the river bank. As she traveled around an oxbow, she remembered what Grandpa used to say, that such a bend in the river was a temporary shape, but eventually, over thousands of years, the river would reroute itself to the most direct path. Never mind the houses folks had built in its way, never mind the retaining walls or the concrete chunks, the riprap they'd piled along the river bank. The river persevered, Grandpa had said, and people would eventually give up. Margot remembered thinking she would not give up on making the river her own. Margot hiked back downstream. She lugged big rocks from the woods and the river to encircle her fire pit. She watched the birds drink at the sandy place where the spring trickled in, blue jays first, then a red-bellied woodpecker, followed by a few tree swallows that glided over from across the river. 3 crows landed in a tree and looked down at her. One by one, they rose from their perches and resettled in an adjacent tree. Watching the crows move their wings made Margot's desire to row a boat so powerful that she let her head fall back and closed her eyes. She lay in her bed and listened to the high-pitched whispering and whistling all around her boat, a flock of cedar waxwings resting during their northern migration. She whispered and whistled back to them in their secret language. As far as she could tell, every language was a secret language, secret and manipulative and hopeful. Sometimes Margot had been unable to find a language that worked for her, but she was pretty sure she was speaking one now.